Hello, hello. Welcome to the Knock Your Socks Off podcast, where we aim to knock each other's socks off. My name is Hannah.
I'm Ravi.
Ravi, what are you knocking my socks off with today?
I have come prepared.
With paper.
With
what year are we?
paper.
Did you also look up a MapQuest to get here?
Yes. Actually, no.
When we used to print things out?
That's what I did with these things.
Well, I know, but remember we print out directions. Was it MapQuest?
It was MapQuest.
Yahoo Maps was also a thing.
That was a thing too.
There was a bunch of other. I feel like there's another gen that I'm missing. Anywho, you printed out papers. This is
Yes,
exciting. This means it's serious.
Because we're going to discuss everyone's favorite subreddit from the worldwide net of Reddit. Am I the asshole? Or AITA for short.
In what year of the millennium do you think that I learned what that acronym stood for?
What year of the millennium did Hannah learn that? 2 months ago.
It was probably like a year ago.
That's
I'm not even gonna lie.
pretty close.
2023. It was legit. I just got the guts one time and I was like, "What the fuck is it?"
The subreddit made that term popular again.
Totally.
It wasn't I don't think that's a common term before Reddit. Because
I believe that.
Real quick, we are not groundbreaking podcasters here. Tons of other people have done this.
Yes.
There are actually podcasts dedicated to dissecting people's posts on this subreddit.
Yep.
But what we're doing here is I went through and I found 5. I don't know if we'll get through all 5, but I found 5 different posts from
juicy ones,
individual strangers on the internet that are asking the internet. Basically, how the format works: people on the internet are asking random strangers, "Are they the asshole for said whatever they've done?" That they've done. Everybody weighs in. It's like a town hall, and then everyone decides if they're the asshole or if the other people are the asshole. Yeah. Or if it's fake. The other big thing is there's a big...
Or if it's fake.
Yeah, because there's this thing on Reddit called karma farming.
Karma's a bitch. Karma farming?
Karma farming, where especially... Because in Reddit, you build status, if you will, by getting more karma points. So
this is all theoretical.
This is all just
this is all
fake
again,
points.
Karma that's fake.
It's
not. There's no actual
there's no value to it.
Quantitative thing on. Okay, because it would kind of be like any social media platform to also learn about a qualitative thing that their audience does and then makes it quantitative. So I like that they haven't done that.
Yes.
Love that. Okay, carry on.
But people will sometimes make fake stories to kind of boost their karma and their status and all that crap.
Damn.
So basically, what I want to do today is I want to go through some of these stories, and I want to ask your personal opinion, Hannah's opinion on these stories, and if you think they are the asshole or not the asshole.
Sure.
I want to know why you think which way.
And the why, yeah.
And then I also want to kind of play this really fucked up game called because all these stories, I can confirm, are U.S.
or
U.S. based. They happened in the United States of America. Okay. We're not going international.
Do people dox themselves? Do they put? They're not addresses.
But you can usually tell based on the
rural
account,
or
the story.
City
At the very least, even if these are fake, and I can't confirm if they're fake or not. Yeah. But based on the story, they take place in the United States. And I want you to kind of, where do you think in the U.S. they take place? Because I think that's funny.
Okay.
And then also general, what do you think about this person who's telling the story?
Truly.
Because that's always fun.
That's true. And I will say, luckily for you, in the essence of, are you knocking my socks off or not, is am I the asshole regularly knocks my socks off. The people's vulnerability and sharing, and then also people's comments on Am I the Assholes are always so people really get into it.
Super into it.
And I'm excited to get into these, but it's because it really is so fascinating to hear, to kind of go through a thing. You're not just telling a story, but then you want feedback. It's good. Anyway, so let's go.
Everyone's got an opinion.
I like it. Yeah.
I think we're going to start right off the bat with the longer story.
All right. Are you going to summarize it for our
I'm not going to read. Some of these I will read the full post.
Maybe we should also put the links in our YouTube. So you can yourself can go read the stories.
All of these will be linked in a description, whether you're watching the podcast on youtube.com/KYSO podcast or on whatever podcast platform that you consume podcasts. It'll be in the description.
Fabulous.
So the first one, the title of the first.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for suing my girlfriend after she had my 1967 Impala project taken to the scrap yard? I thought that said scrappy yard, and I was like, what's a scrappy yard?
Scrappy yard.
But it's a scrap yard.
Damn.
A scrappy yard.
Okay. What year?
1967 Impala. So a type of a classic vehicle.
Well, and vintage.
Vintage vehicle, based on the story. So I'll give you the gist of the story.
Are these also like within the last like 5 years or something?
These are all within the last year.
Oh, bless. Okay, okay.
So this story, to summarize it, is an individual, a male, I presume. I actually don't know the gender.
Okay.
A male has a girlfriend. He bought a home, and he went he bought a house. It has a 2.5 car garage, so like a 2.5 car garage, pretty large garage.
Yeah.
He went on some business trip, and while he was on the business trip, his girlfriend, who I guess he's let live there, move in with him, decided to move his vintage car to make room for her Jeep or truck. And when he gets back from his trip, she's all happy and smiling and making him food, and she, basically is like, he's like, hey, where's your?
Because he's working on this car. This is not just a vintage car he has sat in a garage. Like he's been actively
working on it.
A 1967 Impala project.
According to the post,
he's building the car. Like he's one of those. Yeah.
According to the post, he's sunk about $11,000 in extra parts. Not to mention
on top of just getting the engine and the
all the pieces.
And the body.
So she basically. Long and short is she had a junkyard come scrap the car so that she could make room for her car in the garage. He was obviously very upset and angry. He told her immediately, "We're done." He kicked her out.
Okay.
He then said that he's going to sue her. He then the next day went and got a lawyer. And between posting and then an update, he did also go and file a police report and show evidence from his security cameras of the scrapyard coming in and, scrapyard guys taking and everything and moving it all out. So that was like his first update. There's another big update. But based on that information.
Is he the asshole? I mean, I guess the context that I'm wondering is like if like they like no, without the context of wondering like if they had talked about it before, because like if she'd asked him before and he'd said no, then that is like for sure she's the asshole doing it. Either way, I think she is the asshole for doing that. Like especially essentially not even just moving his car, but like fully getting rid of it.
Some extra context is like she, when she moved in with him, she had, asked to move. Asked to move it so that she could park her car.
Okay.
But according to him, he has a bunch of land. The car is fine out. There's other places to park. It's not like she was parking on the street. She could park on the land.
And it's like an intentional use of the garage. Yeah, and the big thing, not even like, I'm doing a gym in the garage. Like it's like, yeah.
And the other thing is like, it's his house.
Well, sure. That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I mean, they're not in it together. Like it's
married,
like how
they're boyfriend, girlfriend.
It's how how he's like, having the home. No, I mean, there's a level to like if he did sue her.
So
because if he does, because to me the relationship ending because of it and her having to move out because of it, that's like all. I don't think that's a big asshole move. That's just like your values are really different, and like with that clarity, then like go forth. And like I don't think that's an asshole move. That's a clarity move. But suing somebody over that feels a little bit asshole-ish for the sake of like.
That's interesting.
You're just like taking it to the
next level,
extreme, I guess.
But I guess like if it wasn't boyfriend girlfriend, it was like a roommate.
Yeah.
And your roommate got rid of like $11,000 of whatever Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Like that is theft.
Yeah.
Destruction of property.
That's true. I mean, it is. Yeah, it is definitely destruction of property. And yeah, he put money into it. Yeah, and she didn't just like move it and accidentally scratch it or something. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
she had the entire thing removed.
It's like I think what's really it's like what's tough in this is like it's a really extreme. It's extreme on both sides. Like they both just like took extremes. Like she took a huge swing that like isn't good for any relationship to like move somebody's thing in their own home. That all those things like it's not a good look on her at all. And then I guess, yeah. But I don't know if I believe in like an eye for an eye. So it's kind of like that's where it's kind of like, yeah, she was for sure an asshole about it. And the higher what's that called? Not higher ground, but like the higher.
The high road.
The high road. Thank you. The high road would be for him to be like, this is really shitty. Our relationship is done, and that's like what it is. But I mean, so I guess it's like relatively. Yeah, I get you when you're saying it's like it is relatively even for him to then sue that. But like that is like it is. I mean, it's like it's both are like gut punching each other,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you're just like, I mean, either way, like yeah, you guys shouldn't be in a relationship.
He did a couple days
like
later.
that for sure is not what you should be.
He
at
did a
all.
couple days later put a huge update. They found the car. The police, because he filed a police report.
But they didn't just scrap it right away. They like had the car.
The junkyard had it. So technically,
I mean, some guys are probably like, "This is dope. I want to work on it."
probably, but they claimed like they had the title of the car, which they didn't. So that's still considered thieving or whatever.
He already had a title on the car. He
Yeah.
wasn't just working.
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, this is like coming more and more together.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yes, and then I actually very much see why he would sue for that.
Yeah.
Because it's his. Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's a
Okay.
car,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's a
I'm
vehicle.
getting more.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. No, he's for sure not the asshole in it.
Yeah.
It's all a shitty situation.
Yeah.
So like all things extreme, it's not great, and they should not be together as a couple. But yeah, like. I didn't know he had a title for the car.
Yeah, the title. Yeah.
What was she?
Because even like
doing?
vintage cars that
What
you
was
get, like
she-
you have
what was she
have to have titles
thinking?
for it and
That's
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah.
To move somebody's thing, that's
Like if you like
that's ballsy.
if for example, crazy story, but like if you're house sitting for someone,
sure.
and like you're house sitting for a month, and for some reason you decide this
You're like,
house.
I want to park my car in here.
Well, no, like if you're like decide I want them to have a sunroof or
sure.
and you decide to do major construction on their house,
right.
that's illegal.
It's illegal, 100%.
Yeah.
And or being like, like I want to do like a little like I want to add this whole machine to their. It's that's nuts.
Crazy.
Dang. I mean, Either way, the jury is clear that they should not be in a relationship.
Where
did it go wrong? It went wrong when he asked her to move in. I'm surprised that there were no red flags to him of like. I mean, obviously they had.
There had to have been other red
shitty
flags,
communication.
yeah.
Shitty,
and that brings up
communication.
like another point with these stories is like they don't feel like they like this story. Something was working towards this story. This didn't just happen randomly.
100%. This was like, I mean, this is a big last straw. This is a big last straw.
Yeah.
But this was like the last straw. Like, if anything, I bet it was like he was like, all right, we're going to take this like last swing to see if moving in together will work. And it's like, it doesn't work. If you're trying to save the relationship by moving in, that's crazy.
Where do you think this took place in the country?
Because you said he had 2.5 acres or something.
He had a 2.5 car garage, and he said he had 2 acres of land, and he clearly has enough disposable income to work on a hobby project.
Yeah. My gut would be like the South or something.
The South, yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
Yeah,
it also feels like the type of place where people would just decide to move other people's property without permission.
Yeah,
so
that's. And like, because it also kind of feels small towny, where like she just like got like the junkyard people to get there. Like it's kind of like you're kind of like, well, like my cousin knows a person who knows a person. Just bring some guys out. Like it kind of feels like that, like small town vibe ish. Yep. So like southern small town where it's just like, well, Billy can do it. Sure, let's go. Like get Billy and his crew to come out and in the darkness of night. Cameras. The darkness of night. I don't know. Like while he's out of town, that's nuts. That's nuts.
Crazy.
Oh, people are wild.
All right, shifting gears here. Here's the title.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for pretending to get fired when customers get a temper with me?
Are they in like food service or customer service? Please.
Well, here we go. I'm actually going to read the full thing because it's not super long.
Okay.
I am a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers.
At a coffee shop. Yes.
My coworkers who work weekends are James, the owner's son. He goes to my school. He's a shift manager, but it's not a real formal thing. He's a friendly guy.
Okay.
That's James.
Danielle,
our college student who sometimes works weekends too.
Okay. So like young coffee shop staff.
Yeah,
Making friends. Okay.
Coffee shop probably again, and I would assume right off the bat, small town.
Love it. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So here's where it gets interesting.
And this person's a high school student.
This person, they're all, it sounds like high school or
young.
college.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The youths.
The youths filling up my soul and my IV with coffee.
So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blowing up about nothing.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it's a lot. Like how sad do you have to be a grown ass man taking her out on a high school and college kids?
Yeah. Petty.
So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't have the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I gave it to him right out of the machine.
Honestly.
So James came out
like,
and was like, "Sir, is there a problem here?" And the guy just started ranting at him too. So he was like, OP. OP is the original poster.
Okay.
OP.
To just not say his own name.
Yeah,
Or their own
exactly.
name. Yeah.
OP, this is unacceptable. You're fired. I started acting real sad, like, no, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job, please. And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take off my apron and leave. The angry guy started to backtrack, like, it isn't that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it. And James was like, no, we pride ourselves on the best customer experience, best customer service. Of course, after all that drama, I still had my job and we were just acting. And we've done it a couple of times. Whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or James will storm in and fire us. And almost every time the person who had come in angry will apologize and say they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying, making people realize their actions might actually have consequences.
Yep.
Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needs the money fired.
Oh,
Am I the asshole for this
absolutely
joke?
Not. Absolutely not. I love this prank. This, in very much different to the Impala,
Sure.
is not harmless. I hope it's not harmless because I hope that the people who are assholes to food service people can learn a lesson and maybe have some guilt and have to change their ways in the future because they can see how their dipshit headspaces and attitude towards people could actually impact someone's job. But I don't care about them. And I love that. I love that prank.
Interesting.
What do you think? Do you think they're the asshole?
I think it could potentially be a harmful prank to some people, yeah.
To the point where they're an asshole?
If a person, I mean, especially the people when they're doing the prank to the angry customer and the customer is backtracking and is apologetic and whatever.
Like you think they should own up to the prank?
I think they
Be
should.
like, just so you know.
So you know or whatever.
Or something.
Because if the person's apologizing, that could like have a weird adverse effect on that person. Because some people, especially like, we know that people have problems.
Yes.
People have a lot of people have like mental therapy issues, etc.
Sure.
And if a person in my mind can get upset about the temperature of coffee being too hot, think about like knowing that you got someone fired, what that could mentally do to them.
Okay.
Like that could have ridiculously
I see where you're going. Okay.
Like consequences that you wouldn't even know.
Sure, that's fair. Know? That person could,
yeah. And I get where they're coming from, like telling or having people not be fucking assholes or whatever. Okay. And like as somebody that has done customer service, in high school and college, like yes, I would love to make somebody feel terrible. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like
it is risky.
You're taking on that responsibility of causing whatever to that person.
And they come back into the coffee shop 2 days later and they see you. And it's also like at some point you have to own up to it and or really admit like we were super lying to you and that person. That's true. You're basically poking the bear. You're basically being like, let's see how much we can get away with a person who's like probably relatively unstable.
Yep.
I hear you. I want it to be harmless. Like I get it. Yeah. I get where they're coming from. Also, like doing shift work like that, you sometimes get, maybe not at coffee shops, but sometimes you get fucking bored and you just kind of want to like have some fun with the customer.
I think
but it's also, I get it.
There's definitely a middle ground there. I think you can have like in the story, James, who's the whatever manager. Shift manager, you could have them basically get to the point of like, you're almost fired.
Sure. Like they have to do something to own back up.
Yeah, basically like, this might be one of the last strikes, etc.
Sure.
Get it to the point where the person apologizes. Like, no, it's not that big of a deal.
Sure.
I think that's a good level.
All right.
But I think going all the way to the extreme of being fired, like that could have really bad consequences.
All right. That's fair. Ooh. Wow.
Where do you think in the U.S. this takes place?
Took place? My thought would be like especially with, I mean, maybe it's just because of a coffee shop, but like a Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like a city-ish enough where you have like people working in coffee shops and like it's just like, I mean, coffee shops are everywhere now. It's not just
Portland.
cities or Portland, Oregon. But like, there's something about like kind of like I kind of get a vibe of like kind of like the small city vibe, like a city, but like not like. Did they say where they were?
No, they don't.
Okay.
But I also like reading this one. I actually kind of question if this is legitimate.
Ooh,
just
like
based on like how it's written.
Oh.
Like this is supposed to be a high schooler.
Are they writing really eloquently in your mind?
No,
or something? Or
they this can sound bad, but they write like how I would write, as if I was pretending to be a high schooler. Like for example, I started acting real sad. Like,
I mean, sure.
Like who writes that? I don't even think high schoolers actually write like that. But it just feels like somebody's trying to like, hello, fellow kids.
Let me tell you a story about my childhood. I mean, if anything, they could still be stories of what they did before, and maybe they're remembering.
I mean,
maybe it's fake, or a story to be told, or maybe it's somebody posting on Reddit what their kid is doing. Maybe their kid got caught for that. So then they're just trying to retell the story to Reddit to try and prove to their kid, like, see, everyone thinks you're the asshole.
You're an asshole. That's very true, actually.
Did you read any of the, do you have memory of, like, what these comments were? Like, were people aligned with the kid or with...
For the most part, more people are aligned with you.
Okay, yeah.
On this one. It's like,
on
the Impala one, more people are aligned, that they're not the asshole.
Yeah.
Most people are like,
you're not the asshole. But I definitely get what you're saying, but like, it's a pretty extreme thing you're doing. So yeah, you know. Okay.
What is it? Eye for an eye, and the world goes blind.
Truly.
So
can't watch it all burn.
You get that.
You gotta take the high road at some point.
Right?
What? Oh yeah. Bird Box.
There you go. Never saw it. Did you ever see that?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was a COVID movie, wasn't it?
Sure. I have no idea.
Anyway. No, actually, maybe it wasn't. I think maybe it was before COVID.
All right, this one. I'm curious where you'll stand on this one. Okay. Title is, am I the asshole for making my oldest pay back a $3,000 dress she ruined? Here we go. It's very short, so I'll read it quickly.
Okay.
My oldest, Bethany, 16, had a step-sibling, Maria, 14, almost 15. Bethany and I are white, while my husband and Maria are Mexican descent. They have been in each other's lives since they were 6 and 7, and overall, the relationship was good until recently. Maria's quinceanera is coming up, and my husband and his ex-wife took her to get her dress. The dress and alterations came to around $3,000. The daughter has been very jealous. My daughter has been very jealous of the whole party. I've informed her it is part of the culture, just like when she had a huge Sweet 16 party with her friends. I spent more time with her to try to make her feel better about it and get her own much cheaper dress for the party. The party is supposed to be in 2 weeks, but my daughter, after an argument with Maria about the TV, she scribbled Sharpie all over the expensive dress and ripped the back. The short story, everyone was pissed.
Well, yeah. Then that's the story?
That's the story.
Oh.
And then she's making her pay.
So is the mom the asshole?
No,
or is the daughter the asshole?
She's asking if she's the asshole for making the daughter pay back for the $3,000 dress.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom would have done the same thing. Oh, I had to pay. Yeah, no.
Wait, I'm sorry. Have you
I haven't ruined a dress before, but like my household was like, and this is a weird example to like go back off it, but like for the sake of like I was in AP classes all growing up and stuff.
Nerd.
Truly. And like I had to pay for like all my tests and like PSATs and SATs and AP class tests and stuff. Like it was just kind of like my mom always just like, well, you're like investing in your own stuff.
Yeah.
If I ruined a dress, even if I ever ruined one of my dresses or something, I paid for all my prom dresses and stuff. Like,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't pay for my prom dresses.
Did you go to prom?
I did go to prom, but I didn't have a dress, so that's why I didn't pay for my prom dresses.
Yeah, got that joke. But I mean, she also has to learn. It's also like it wasn't even like the way that I could see if someone was like, and whatever, kids are gonna throw fits for all the things, right? Any reason, a lot. And she's already like jealous. This kid's already clearly going through some stuff, but like. If she accidentally, or if it was like in a sense able to be proven that it was an accident, like accidentally spilled coffee on her. But if you literally go and are just scribbling and ripping
and destroying property,
that's real Cinderella. That's real Cinderella vibes right there. You're like the stepsisters are not the heroes, and you have to pay that back. No.
What's also kind of crazy to me is like, so when the reason I picked this one is because it's the mother
Sure.
writing this about her daughter.
Yes.
And what her daughter did to her stepdaughter.
Her stepsister.
Stepsister.
Yeah.
Like, as a mother, do you feel like you failed like hardcore at that point?
I'm sure she is. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I'm sure it became beef between the husband and wife and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. That would be big beef. And that would be like one that you send your teenage kids to therapy for, I think. Like, you're like, something is going on. Like,
well,
your entire life, you're going to compare each other.
Jealousy.
Well, yeah, straight up. But you're taking it out. And you're taking it to such extremes. You're like, yeah, and kids can be jealous, but you're not gonna. Well, that's what the extreme is. Like, if the extreme is you're going to ruin her dress, and the extreme is you're going to pay it back.
Right.
Like, also, like, things have consequences. You can be jealous, but not also act on it. You could be jealous and even throw a pity party. You could be jealous and mean at her quince or whatever. And like, that's not cool. You still, as a parent, probably feel really shitty. But to take the action step is like a sign that you're like, something else is like, you don't think you're going to have consequences for that or something.
Reminds me of the show I'm rewatching currently, Mindhunters.
Ooh.
And they have a whole piece in there about children and like the things that they go through when, the trauma and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, Mindhunters is based on a book from one of the FBI agents that originally helped start the psychological investigation that the FBI did and coined the phrase serial killer. And like one of the big things is like childhood development and like where those traumas and things will, if not treated properly, can lead to these like very bad habits and things.
Yeah.
I wonder if like this person could grow up to be a serial killer.
I mean, again, there's this spot where it's like, you got to teach them that they have to deal with consequences.
Yeah.
And kids are, in a sense, awful. We were all kids once. We were all awful. But like, that is, you gotta learn.
Gotta learn.
She hoped that, I hope that the mother in her either doubting herself or probably, feeling guilt. I hope that she stuck to it and made her pay back.
Yeah, and I would imagine she made her get a job or something.
Oh yeah, I mean at 16 too. Like life has consequences, and you're like gonna do that. Yeah, 100%.
Where do you think this took place in the U.S.?
Ooh, I mean, that could take place on the West Coast.
It could take place anywhere, I think. Yeah,
yeah, and like that could be anywhere. That's a pretty general. Yeah. It actually really. I mean, it just does feel like a classic.
Cinderella story?
I mean, yeah, but like kind of just like this, like any, like almost like Step Brothers or something.
Yeah.
where it's just like any family scenario where you throw people together. And even if they've been around each other for 10 years, because they were like together since 6 or 7, like you give them 10 years of, and then as 16-year-olds. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know. It just kind of feels like it literally like a Cinderella story. Like there's so many movies from the early 2000s that like were that.
Yeah.
That also kind of feels like, like.
That's probably what happened. This girl watched Step Brothers and was like, I know what to do.
I know what to do.
Chaos.
100%. That's bananas.
This is another interesting one where it's very obvious that the mother is not the asshole.
Yeah.
And she's clearly posting this because she needs extra validation.
Oh, yeah, a little boost.
From internet strangers, right?
Sure.
Which makes me wonder, like, I would imagine the husband's on the same page.
Yeah.
But I wonder if, like, the mother's family is like, no. Because you know how, like, grandparents and extended family be. They'll be like, I'm going to do the opposite.
Especially white ones. You didn't
white
say that,
families.
but I can put that on there for you.
Yeah, she said it.
But like, like it's a, they're like, give them forgiveness. They're just 16. She's just processing. You're like,
some of the stories that I found where people are like, you're an asshole, and you read these stories and you're like, what? No. Is your family just stupid?
Exactly. Like, no.
Yeah.
Very stupid.
Let's see. My last 2 stories are based around family.
All right.
I think we'll go with the dad joke.
All right. Take me there. I love dad jokes.
And this one's also similar, where it's a mixed, not mixed family, but a
blended family.
Blended family through adoptions and remarriages and stuff. Anyway.
All right.
Am I the asshole for making a dad joke?
Okay.
Note, my stepdaughter, Madeline, was about a year old when I married her mother, Jessica. Madeline's father died before she was born.
Oh, no.
Sad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Madeline is currently 15, and she's rebelling for almost everything.
Yes.
The 15-year-olds are out in
Lord.
force.
Oh my God. I mean, you at 15 had to be crazy.
I was super crazy.
Yeah.
I hid behind a rock,
A big one?
a big rock, during a snowstorm
In the snow? I mean,
without
obviously.
wearing shoes. Because I'm weird.
What were you trying to, what
I don't
what point were
know.
you trying
My
to get
parents
across?
didn't let me build Lego or watch TV, and I was pissed.
So you're like, I'm going to go in pain.
I'm going to be pain.
Yeah. No. Oh, shit.
So she's rebelling for almost everything. She did something bad. So while
Okay.
picking her up, I set a punishment up for her. Then she said,
Yeah.
"You're not my dad, and I don't have to follow
Classic.
you."
I
Very
mean,
classic.
we've all said some version of.
I mean, I said to my father, like, I was like, "You're the worst father ever."
Yeah, I mean,
Do you know why?
I've said I hated my parents when I was in my teenage
I was like
years.
12 or 13. Side story. I was 12 or 13,
Okay.
and my mom was out of town for a wedding, so my dad was watching us all.
Oh, no.
And this girl invited me to the theme park, and I was like 12 or 13. I really wanted to go, and my dad wouldn't
Could
let
you
me
like
go.
walk there? Like
no,
you could have, or he would
No,
have taken.
He
you.
had to have.
Oh, so you had to get it permission.
Dude would have had to have taken me. Also, pay for the ticket.
Yeah, true.
I didn't have an allowance,
That's fair.
and he was like, "No."
Yeah, he's like, no, that's
So I
a
got
no.
mad. And I was like,
And
I
you're the
hate you.
worst
You're
father ever.
Yeah. He still holds a grudge. You
Do
know,
you, do you too? It sounds like you kind of do too, though.
23 something years later. You know,
Still sounds like a real fresh story for all of you.
no, it's more of a joke. I think it's a joke. I'm always joking about
Okay,
it.
that's good. That's good.
Dad, if you're watching this, I'm joking.
He doesn't hate you anymore.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so she says, "You're not my dad, and I don't have to follow
Yeah.
you." Honestly,
Yeah.
I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand that she
Of
didn't mean
course.
it and that she'd probably change.
Parents have thick skin, sure.
I just replied, "I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years.
Sure.
And as long as you're in my house, you have to follow my rules." That happened about 2 days ago.
No.
So our family was going grocery shopping when Madeline said, "I'm hungry. I need food." I decided to be extremely cheeky and say, "Hi, hungry. I'm not your dad." My son just started to laugh uncontrollably. My daughter was just quiet with embarrassment, and my wife was berating me not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was a funny dad joke, and my son agrees. So, am I the asshole? Edit, I did adopt her, so legally I am her parent.
Okay. Ooh, this is actually tricky because. Oh, sheesh.
I mean, to me, in my
Okay.
2 cents, I
Okay.
don't think it's that tricky.
That he is an asshole.
He's definitely being an asshole. Yeah,
He is an asshole.
He's being an asshole,
That is,
yeah.
Like,
The wife-
she's also being an asshole to him, but she's 15.
She's
And
15.
she has trauma
yes.
that she probably hasn't even processed yet because she was 1 year old and like
I don't know.
all
if,
the
yeah,
level-
I mean,
like you don't
hopefully-
really process. You just
Yeah.
you continually process it in the
Yes.
essence that you're like living your life without like
Yep.
your
Yep.
like your.
You just
dad
don't
you were
know
born
and
with.
all that stuff. But like, I mean,
Oh no,
I-
he is. That is. He
yeah,
is the
the
asshole in
wife's
that.
nailed it on the head. Not to stoop down to
Yes,
her level.
Exactly.
You know,
right? You're
Yeah.
grown.
You're a
She's gonna
grown-ass-
say some shit.
Yes.
She's also like, it's also like if that hurts you, like, you know, as the wife or whatever, I'd be like, talk to me about it. Like, don't also take it out on her or like process with her how it feels to have to
Yeah.
figure out being her father or not, or, you know, whatever, not, but like, yeah, no, okay, thank you. I was like, cause usually I feel like I would say in reading Am I the Assholes, I'm usually on the side of the author.
Yeah.
But this one is like, no, you are. Yeah,
Yeah.
he is the asshole. Like, he totally is. He just
Yeah.
is.
You be like, it's like be the adult.
Be the adult.
And he even says in his post, you know, honestly, I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand that she didn't mean it and
Right.
that she'd probably change. Yeah, I'm not the same dickhead I was when I was 15.
And also, like, it would change day to day. Like,
Yeah.
by the time that she said, "Oh, I'm at the grocery store, we're hungry," like, she's no longer invested in the like a 15-year-old's brain. Like,
Yeah.
it's like
It's
flying
also,
around.
I remember the comments. The comments in general agree with us.
Like,
Yeah,
you're the
you're being the asshole.
Yeah.
But it's also like somebody pointed out, like, it's almost like you're kind of holding this over her.
Yes, that's what
That
I'm saying.
like you adopted her and like suppose like so
Yeah.
God bless you or something. And I was like, that's an
Yeah.
interesting like take.
Yeah.
Like
right. Like you don't have this moral superiority over her
Yeah,
for
yeah,
anything. Like
yeah.
she still deserves
Yep.
she still deserves care and love and all those things. But like
Yeah.
also this like, yeah, like you don't get to also I mean, whatever. I mean, generally parents think they can speak to their kids however they want to in general. But and kids don't always deserve that either because parents take a lot of stuff out on their kids. They don't.
Yes,
That's
they do.
also normal.
Yep.
But it's not always okay, but it is normal. But the space of yeah, like he's being a child, and that's what I'm saying by the sake of like if he had a problem with it or something, like that is something he needs to talk with a grown person about. You can vent, you can like do all that, but like yeah, it's like she's also 15, so she's going to take everything dramatically.
Yeah.
So it's also like in my mind, it's also the space of like as the father or parent in that situation, like you just have to know that you're like barely treading water with her at all times, kind of like welcome to the next decade of your life. Like, I don't know, like it's just like it's not going to be this way forever. She will change, and you'll change too as a dad. But like, jeez, yeah, no, he is.
It's also like it's fascinating too, where you know he's on the internet complaining about his 15-year-old daughter. But if you take like a step back and you're like, you're an adult complaining about your daughter on the internet. Yeah. Like, maybe you should be talking to a therapist.
100%.
Like, this seems weird.
Yes.
But then to take a step back even further, we're adults talking about an adult. Just the levels.
I mean, I'm in therapy, so shout out. Just kidding.
I mean, I graduated from therapy, so bigger shout out to me.
Oh my God.
There was a mini update posted.
Yeah.
I'll probably give a full update later, but here is what happened so far. I go to my daughter's room after dinner and begin talking with her. Hey, I'm really sorry that I hurt you by the words I said, and I'm really your dad. I changed your diapers, I met your boyfriend, and I plan on helping you through college. And plus, I'm legally your dad, so we're stuck together. But seriously, I'm going to love you like my daughter, even if you don't think I'm your dad. Then I hugged her. She did start to cry. I assume that's good. Again, even that mini update feels a little weird.
I don't know. I know.
It's so strange. Like the legal...
I mean, he clearly knows he's the asshole. Like that's the update is that he clearly knows he's the asshole, and so he had to. So again, I mean, I hope that he would have done that even if he didn't post it on the internet. But the fact that he then came back and posted it is like he knows that he's the asshole, so he's covering his own shit.
But it's the legal thing that like gets me, like the adding the edit for the legal, adding to her, like, I'm legally your dad. Like when I was 15, I don't give a. Fuck what the legal thing means.
Right, but
like,
she might for the sake of
maybe,
like for the sake of like anybody I know who's gone through adoption is that legality
is pretty big.
It is big. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, even for the sake of like, I mean, yeah, maybe like similar-ish to like when people want to be a citizen of a country, like the legality of something, like you kind of have the idea of it, but then once it actually all parties involved go to the lengths to do that, it kind of like shows further. Like, yeah, like my friends who are step parents, like the kind of that like formal legality of things was a celebration for all people involved. But I don't know, like, but it is. So it's like, I get that he could like include that, but it still is kind of like, it's also just like what's trickier for me in that space is when he starts to list off like the things he's like trying to prove that he's done for her. Whereas first is just kind of like, I'm your dad. Like, I love you. I'm going to be, I'm going to love you as long as I breathe, Like,
again, it's also one of those things where it could just be karma farming. This isn't even a real story.
But the thing is like, that's such a real story.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? And not even just that, but like so many versions of people have that. Like you were saying, in blended families and all of that, like the essence of like, you're not my dad. Or again, like our stories of like, when I was like, yeah, I hate you, mom. I wish I had so-and-so as a mom. Like,
wow, wow, that's okay. I said my thing. I never said like,
but like, there's like, like we all say dumb shit to parents.
That's true.
And parents take the brunt of it, and they're, they have to respond as best they can.
I'm not going to say it on the pod.
Okay.
I remember there's one, I made a bet with my dad a couple of years ago. It's the dumbest bet ever.
Years ago?
Yep. I'm not going to say it, but I regret it.
All right.
Regret it to this day.
Offline it.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think there's any way to like place this story. I think, again, this could happen anywhere in the US.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's just a human story.
Yeah.
And he is the asshole.
It's nice that we get these stories in the United States where it feels like it could be anywhere. Because we are just one big people.
We are just one united nation under God. Chaos.
Was it Oh Say Can You See?
Is it that one?
I don't know if that's the one.
Is there a new national anthem soon? Hopefully not.
I don't know. Anyway, last one here.
Okay, here we go.
This one's an interesting one.
Okay.
All right, here we go. The title is, Am I the Asshole for Telling My Extended Family How Many Men, roughly, my sister has slept with after she outed our youngest brother as a virgin? That is a title.
Is there any ages involved?
There are some ages.
Okay. Oh,
Here
shit.
we go, please.
Oh, perfect for like holiday getting around the table moments. Okay,
I
good.
would imagine this was at a holiday thing.
Oh,
but,
for sure, probably.
we had a family dinner this evening.
All right.
My family has 4 kids in total. Me, the author, my eldest sister, 29 female, younger sister,
29.
24 female,
29?
and a youngest brother, 22 male.
Okay. So they're all in their 20s.
All in their 20s.
Okay. All right.
Extended family attended our family dinner. So all of our significant others, our cousins, aunts and uncles,
Whole soiree.
etc.
All right.
During the dinner, my eldest sister and younger brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive, out of frustration, and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us were getting a bit fed up.
Sure.
Eventually, my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up. I'm not going to argue with a 22-year-old virgin." My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk.
Sure.
Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows he's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me, as my bro definitely has confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of like this. So I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this is not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know this.
Oh, she's married.
Didn't know this amazingly. No. I genuinely assumed he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying my sister misled him about her past. My family is blaming me for their...
But over 100 is accurate. I mean, they're saying... Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Family is blaming me for their marital problems. I refuse to accept I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone. All I did was give her a taste of her own medicine.
Oh! Are there any updates?
No updates.
Ooh! Ooh, this is a juicy one. This one could go many ways.
Very much. This could go anywhere.
I don't know. I mean, no. There's not a space where like that is going to be like the main cause of marital problems or something for the sake of like. Well, I mean, it can be, but it's like you already have like a pretty rocky marriage to go with if that's.
Well, I would imagine like.
I mean, I guess if you went through.
I guess like if the husband thought she was a virgin or something, I don't know. Like,
yeah, well, that's
true. Just a flat out lie, obviously, and it's a flat out lie, big problem.
Yeah, but it's also like in my mind, he definitely wouldn't have thought she was a virgin, because if she's making fun of her younger brother for being a virgin, I feel like there's something in that sentence that makes it be like that they're probably a relatively
like sex positive,
or at least like if virginity is a joke to people. It's whether it's sex positive or not, it's just kind of like sex normality.
Gotcha.
And I just don't think, like, having grown up in like a Christian space where like virginity was like actually very much regarded, like it wouldn't have been like a diss to diss somebody if they were a virgin. It'd have been like they were this like great person. So my thought would be like, I don't know, but like, yeah, I mean, I guess over 100 people is different than if you were like, I've only slept with 6 guys, like, okay, like, but I mean, yeah, there's space. I don't think someone would be owed that they have a full marital, like that's their full marital issue based on the sibling. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like an answer that I'm not thinking an answer of like, is she the asshole or is the poster an asshole? Mm-hmm. I think they're both being assholes.
Yes,
but I think of that, like, the stigma of somebody having sex with over 100 people in potentially just 4 years is actually a bit more extreme than just commenting that someone's a virgin or trying to use that as your angle.
I mean, for
the sake of like something that could actually take down a relationship or have people look at someone differently. Like I think that would be more shocking than saying someone's a virgin. So like it was an extreme thing. Mm-hmm. So I mean, they're both being assholes. They're both assholes. But, I mean, again, when you add alcohol like that and you start throwing like threats or whatever or like comments at people, like yes, that is.
What's funny? What's interesting though, like in the post, like the person, makes sure to point out that the elder sister is a mean drunk.
Right.
I would have to imagine
a mean drunk.
A mean drunk.
Yeah.
I would have to imagine though that the person writing this was also drunk. Like,
oh yeah, I would
typically
imagine
you're
the 22.
not at
I would imagine the
family
20.
events not drinking as well.
I would imagine the 22-year-old was drunk. Like I would
Yeah,
imagine
everybody was probably drunk.
Dang.
It's pretty rough.
What do you think?
I mean, I agree with you. I think it is extreme.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, there's obviously more there between the husband and the older sister if he left like super angry.
Right. That's where I'm kind of like, that's where it's like there already was something probably brewing.
Else happening. Yeah.
And so to blame this sibling for like, you're the reason for their marital problems is like, no, there was clearly something else.
Something else happening.
It's like bringing up a trigger point is probably not great.
Yeah.
If you were, as the words of it all, but.
It's a rough one. Rough one.
No slut shaming here. Go have your hoe phase. Like it's totally fine.
Okay.
But in a family, in a very mixed group setting, like it is usually better sibling code to like not spill all the tea that you potentially had as a safeguard in that. But especially within a marriage relationship, you would hope that at some point they had the like frank conversation about their sexual history. And so like that would be shitty as a partner to like learn that someone's sexual history was really not what you thought. Like that would suck. And at 29, when I was under 30, like someone's sexual history meant a lot more to me than when I've been over 30, but like still like there's like
when you're like when you're talking to like a potential partner, you mean is more
like when I was in my 20s, like it was like very much like kind of this like not to like slut shame them or to like be like I'm not sleeping with you, but just like this space of like you wanted to know, obviously,
knowledge is power.
You want to know it all the time, but like but there was just something to the effect of like like I don't know, it was just different.
Do you think the poster is male or female?
I thought it's supposed to is female.
So I feel bad for the youngest. That's the youngest with 3 older sisters.
Because that's just because my thought would be that for that person to know that their sister slept with over 100 people is like that's a sister bond,
right?
Rather than like a brother sister bond necessarily, unless they went to the same college and then he had like all the tea or something. But like to me that's a totally inner sister.
I think in reading this again, like I think that the poster
is the asshole.
It's definitely the asshole, but I think they were looking for a excuse to slut shame the older sister.
Yes,
and
100%.
this just happened to be the excuse.
I agree
to do it.
That's very true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
That's a toxic ass family right there.
It's toxic, and like it's all just kind of like. I mean, at all that point, like you're very much in a space that those dynamics are going to have changed. Because also, like, because like sharing about like different parts of your life, like with your siblings and stuff, like you garner trust within your family and all that stuff, and for that also to be squashed would be a shitty feeling. Yeah, as a sibling, sister or brother for that person, or as that older sister who's like, I mean, it's like not to ever say that like when someone's drunk that they're doing things or that they should be allowed to do whatever they want when they are drunk, but like,
nope,
it's definitely a space that like you also have to have some semblance of like reading the room.
Read the room, people.
But because also like I'm an older sister, right? So like when like a virgin joke isn't that intense. Like that is a mean joke and it is kind of like punching below the belt, but like it's not the worst thing. Like, I guess maybe in my mind, unless that person
the
really
OP's backing it up by saying, the brother has like confidence issues.
Sure.
So I can definitely understand
so like
why
they wanted to like stand up for their brother.
Being. But again, what I said earlier, eye for an eye and the world goes blind.
Yeah, which is kind of what all these Am I the Assholes is like someone's an asshole to you, and then are you an asshole for being an asshole back? Basically,
yeah. I'm going to be an asshole back, and then I need the internet to approve and tell me I'm not the asshole.
Because if you're in a situation where it was like very clearly a one-sided thing that someone else is being an asshole to you, like, and not even just like self-defense, but like and it's easy to know that like, no, I'm not being an asshole, but it's always like someone's an asshole to me. I'm an asshole back, but am I the almost ultimate asshole?
The ultimate asshole. Yeah.
But these are good.
Let the battle commence.
The subreddit is a gem, honestly.
It really is.
It really is. Have you ever seen I think it was Amazon Prime did a story or like like an anthology series called Modern Love, and I think they've done a couple different like takes on it, but it was based on a New York Times article of like people submitting their like stories of like
That's cool.
modern love stories of like how they met their person or just a story, and even maybe some fictionalized or whatever. But I feel like an anthology series of Am I the Asshole?
I'm sure somebody's done somebody's got done something
where it's just
because like Netflix has done 2-sentence horror, for example.
They have?
Yeah, there's a 2-sentence, not Netflix, but somebody's done like taken a couple of the bigger ones and made anthology.
Because like this would be so fun to like kind of almost like do this, like you tell the story, you dramatize it, you add the things.
For this
like,
one,
like Black Mirror, Black Mirror, Am I the Asshole? That'd be a really fun Black Mirror episode of like literally like someone sourcing it like you and I, and then like in the episode,
this is
like,
what we're gonna be
like,
doing.
Am I the Asshole? Like,
yep,
they're not, or they are, and then like a thing over their head or something.
We know
Karma points would go great in Black Mirror too. Anyway, Reddit basically is Black Mirror, so
yes,
there you go.
Fun fact: that's where all the creators get their stories from. Is Reddit.
Anyway, an anthology series on Am I the Asshole would be so
that
crazy,
would be fun,
but fun.
Yes.
Anyway,
did I knock your socks off?
You knocked my socks right off. So shout out to Reddit.
1-0. Just like karma points, the points here mean nothing.
Didn't I get the point then?
Thank you for watching. As always, you can find us on youtube.com/KYSO podcast. Also TikTok as well. New podcasts every Saturday. Till then, don't be an asshole.
Exactly.